Does music use geometry? Sort of, but unlike the sides of a triangle, we don't need to use the Pythagorean theorem in order to figure out how far apart notes are. It's way easier than that. Hi everyone, welcome back to this beginner piano series. Today we're going to dive into something really exciting, intervals up to an octave and some fun improvisational techniques that you can use. Now, if you haven't seen our previous videos on the basics of piano, please be sure to check those out. We're going to be referencing things from those, so it will make a lot more sense. You can look at any of the thumbnails, but the links will be in the description. If we haven't met, I'm Rosemarie, piano teacher and composer at Must Love Music. Now, whether you're a parent looking for a creative outlet for your kids or an adult eager to start your piano journey, our studio is the perfect place to explore, play, and create music. And in fact, you're going to be getting a peek into how I teach intervals in my studio. Intervals are a shorthand way of describing how far apart notes are. Now, this could be on a piano keyboard, it could be another instrument, or it could even be sheet music. If you want to hear songs that use all these different intervals, I'm going to run through them quite quickly here, then be sure to check the description. Here's a few examples. We've got minor seconds. These are related to chromatic scales. Major seconds. We often call these a step. Minor thirds. I always think of these as doorbells. Or a major third. Hey, it's been a great day, and so ding dong, have a wonderful day. In terms of fourth and fifth intervals, these are closely related to chords. Perfect fourth intervals, those are related to chord inversions, whereas perfect fifth intervals are related to root position or home chords. So from a chord, outside notes. Not perfect sixth. Sixth intervals, they're related to the outside of chord inversion. We have minor sixths. We also have major sixths. Seventh intervals, we often add these to chords. They create an amazing sound. So your minor seventh and major seventh, which leads to the last one. Now, while I'm introducing you to an eighth interval, or AKA an octave now, we actually did these way back at the beginning of this series when we were learning how to find notes on the piano. So if you're wondering what that looks like, feel free to check it out. Let me know in the comments if there's something that stands out with each of these. I did start on different notes, so it might be not quite as clear. Each of these intervals has their own unique sound and feel. At the same time, music is about connections, even when it comes to music theory. So many of these intervals are related to chords, which is the building block of Western music. Follow along with me. If you need to pause, go for it. As you are listening to these are fantastic for practicing and feeling comfortable on the keyboard. The more that you can hear these, the more that you'll be able to pick out the melody by ear. I'm just wondering, did you notice anything special about those intervals? Let me know in the comments, by the way. Did you notice that it moved up by half a step each interval? The only difference is between our perfect fourth and our perfect fifth. And that's because there is actually an interval in between those that we're not covering in this series. Using these interval names lets us get detailed, but without getting too wordy, which is a pretty fantastic thing. So while going through the intervals like we did is important, let's face it, improvising is so much more fun. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna mix up those intervals quite a bit. I'll play a little example for you. You can let me know if I have covered every interval that we talked about. I'm gonna be improvising, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so did I actually cover every interval? I think I did. Here's a few guidelines that I use and that I'm going to get you to use as you're creating your improvisation. Keep mostly to second and third intervals. You'll notice that a lot of it was pretty close steps together. You can throw in some fourth and fifth intervals, but this relates to how easy it is to sing. Even if you're not going to be singing along to what you're playing, our ear likes to believe that we could sing with it, even if maybe the only place that we sing is in the shower. You're going to add some larger intervals. These are usually categorized as leaps for just a little bit of added interest, and so I had done that towards the end of the piece. And just mix up the length of the notes. Go short, medium, and long. When you do that, you're automatically adding some rhythm to what you're creating. It's your turn. Don't worry about making any mistakes. Improvisation, it's really about just experimenting and having fun. So here's a little simple improvisation to get you started. I'll give you some ideas. Don't worry about the chords unless you want to go back and memorize the ones that I did, but that's absolutely not necessary. You're going to start on F or C. So here's F or here's C, anywhere on the piano, and you're going to end on F. That was actually the home note, or the one that's going to make it feel like it's completed. Let me know after you've tried this, did you really like having a song, a mini song that you've created that has such a vast number of intervals in it? Intervals help us describe the distance between two notes. Now, whether this is auditorily, as in we're hearing it, or visually, maybe we're seeing it on sheet music or on a keyboard. Learning the intervals from seconds straight through to octaves allows you to make really complex music. And with the exception of second intervals, all the other intervals are actually related to chords. Be sure to use these intervals to create your own music. The best way to learn anything is to try it out. I hope you enjoyed exploring intervals and improvisation with me today. Now, if you want to dive deeper and experience a creative and engaging piano lesson or piano learning journey, be sure to join us for our upcoming intro sessions this August. These are for beginners. Don't miss out, and be sure to click the link to sign up. By the way, let me know in the comments, which intervals did you like the best? Is it maybe part of a melody where you're playing each of the notes one at a time? Is it part of the chords? Or is it maybe both? Happy playing, and I can't wait to see you in the studio. Teaching teen and adult beginner students can be incredibly rewarding and a chance to stay on your toes as a piano teacher. For example, these two demographics, they don't want basic music, but their ability can somewhat dictate this unless we make some changes to what we're doing. I'm going to be sharing 4 ways that adult and teen beginner students, piano students, can create their own musical voice. Be sure to stay to the end because I'm going to give you some tips for choosing repertoire that makes this a lot easier.